I'm not gonna lie, figuring out where to start is incredibly challenging. I spent the last several days staring at a blank sheet of paper trying to figure out how to eloquently say, "Hey guys, so I lost myself." So I decided I think I'm just going to start at the beginning. The very beginning. As a little girl, making things was as easy as breathing. I had an idea and boom, that idea was executed, and it was not only executed, but it was finished, and at times there were sequels, part twos, and side stories. I had absolutely no issues creating. School was hard, but I didn't completely get drained from it yet. So when I was home, I essentially dove myself into something. Anything really. I drew, I wrote stories, illustrated stories, I made videos, wrote songs. I played endless games with my sisters. And honestly, I miss that part of myself. Not only do I miss it, but I need it. I suppose I'm jumping ahead now, so let's move on to middle school. Jesus Christ, was middle school my first wake-up call on how hard things can be. I went into the building, hoping to make new friends as all my peers went to a completely different school, and quite honestly, I became mute. I could not for the life of me speak. I sat at tables with girls during lunchtime and was so viciously quiet that there were times my lunch was moved to another table if I got up to grab something quickly. So when I got home, I escaped. I made things, I wrote things, made more cringy videos, and I saved all the thoughts I had that day to write them in a journal when I finally got home. To this day, I look back on middle school and I am just astonished that I did not ask for any help. Not being able to speak is definitely a red flag. Looking back, I really wished I had the courage to ask for some help, get some therapy, anything really to actually have a built communication with somebody, because I was not talking at school and it really impacted my mental health. Anyways, making things got harder, but it was not impossible. 8th grade, things finally got better, and I actually liked school, but next year was high school and I needed to start all over again. So I did. I did now have a small handful of friends, but they always seemed to have different lunch periods than me, or different classes, so there were many semesters that I sat alone, or I was too embarrassed, so I went to the library, found a computer, and ate my lunch up there. Alone, always alone. I hated it too. You know, some people seek that kind of loneliness, but I resented it. I could not figure out why I struggled so much to show people who I truly was. I wasn't shy. I was loud, goofy, and a bit odd too. I did not speak because I didn't want to. I just couldn't. Fast forward to my therapist telling me in my 20s that this was a form of severe social anxiety. So one day I went home and I finally started my YouTube channel. This here was a complete game changer. I could speak my mind, share my interests, and just be me. People saw that, and it gained some traction. I could finally show a side of myself that I had a hard time sharing in person. I ran with this and got so inspired to make more and more videos. Then graduation happened, and this is where the story starts to get a little bit iffy. I started to watch my crystal clear dreams of creating content become so clouded by the murkiness of my self-esteem plummeting. My confusion for what step to take was so daunting that I stopped taking any steps. I thought to myself, this is a real world now and you can't screw this up. And boy, did I screw up. I stopped uploading videos, tried a bunch of different things that didn't feel right, and so I ended up focusing on family life. I got married, I bought a house, and I had a baby, a beautiful little girl. And since motherhood was the #1 dream growing up, I let this consume me. I dove so hard into motherhood that I completely forgot I existed, and thus furthering my confusion on what I want out of life career-wise. So I found comfort in listening to podcasts more than I did music. I called it my pseudo-adult interaction dosage for the day, one of my absolute favorites being the New Mamas podcast. The more I listened to it, the more I was like, F it, maybe I can share my crazy birth story here. I messaged Lena and she replied almost immediately. We scheduled a Zoom call and sure enough, there I was in my room on a podcast that brought me a sense of sanity. It was at that moment upstairs that I realized I had missed having my voice heard. I missed being me. And it may sound corny that talking on a podcast for an hour brought me back, but it did. Not all the way back, but just a small percent of my lostness was restored. I ditched a kids channel that I was working on and uploaded my first video in 4 years. My God, was that terrifying. It was honestly as if I was facing something that I completely failed at, or so I thought I failed at. Ditching my YouTube channel was something I was not at all proud of, so facing it right on was something that I really had to get over. And with each video, I learn more and more about what kind of content I want to make. I find out what part of my brain I want to share and I run with it. The creative engine has finally started coming back, and I could not be more grateful for it. Feeling like a part of me that felt so buried, so hard to access without essentially breaking the metaphysical shovel is finally here. I want to write, I want to paint, and I want to sketch, and even landscape outdoors again. I want to make beautiful photos and edit them to my liking, and I actually want to do things. I don't have to force it. Actually, I usually don't have to force it. This is still gonna be a journey, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take this over feeling so lost again. And I know that I'm not always gonna be perfect, and there are gonna be times that I honestly self-doubt and self-sabotage. But you know what? This is something. We're getting somewhere. I'm sure many of you may be asking, what changed? What made you finally crack? In some ways, I have absolutely no idea. But at the same time, I think I have a few. The first and most obvious one is that my daughter is just a tiny bit older, which definitely has helped. But my main theory is that I have been finally giving myself the time of day. Rather than skipping my cup and filling everyone else's around me, I'm valuing my needs as just as important. I matter too. I still have a long journey of self-discovery and self-love, but if there's one thing I want to leave with, it's this. Do the damn mirror affirmations. You'll thank me later. I have been going through this box of stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, going through your childhood basically is crazy, especially around change. I tend to do this habit where I have really big life decisions that I've made or am doing. For some reason, I feel this desire to step back in the past. I don't know why, I wish I knew, but it's been kind of insane to step back and really just reflect on my life and reflect on the decisions in my life and who I've been and who I was and everything about my childhood, truly. And even in the last 5 years, just really reflecting, what am I? Who am I? And when you look back in the past, I feel like you learn a lot about yourself, which is so weird, and you rediscover yourself, as this video is sort of about. For example, why? This is in here. This is my cat, my stuffed cat. At one point, there was a little girl that was obsessed with this cat. And I don't know, it sounds silly. And then here's another one. This was my favorite. I used to put little earrings in this little thing's ears, and I don't know. If any of you want a Y2K geared video, I have so much from my past. I have Barbies, I have magazines, I have horoscope magazines that we used to get when we were young, with Zach and Cody and Selena Gomez and Miley Cyrus, all of the people. It's very crazy to see the person you were. And if you guys don't have your things from the past, you can do this through pictures, even going to your parents' house and asking to look through an album or two. It can really make you think. I urge you, if you have a box or several, as I do, go through it. If you're about to make some big changes, or you have made some big changes, I really think going through your past can be very interesting and give you a lot. Some of this stuff I don't even know why I saved, or my dad saved, because this was actually made by my dad. He set aside a box for us, which I really appreciate, and I'm going to be doing for my daughter as well, because this is really, I don't know, this is probably the coolest thing that I own, is a bunch of stuff from my childhood. I know some people hate that. Some people are like, Mom, do not give me any of my old stuff. I'm very nostalgic, so anything nostalgic, I'm here for it. But yeah, okay. Just wanted to Give a little PSA for those of you. Wow, I'm so blurry. Okay, bye. If you've reached the end of this video, I just wanted to say thank you for even sticking with me in this video. It means a ton. I have really been trying to think outside of the box these days and how to make videos and how to kind of express myself creatively. And I've really been going through a lot of changes with that. And with this channel, it's evolved so much. I mean, let's be real. When I first started making videos, I was making videos that was very 2014 and 2015 of me. For those of you who are here for this journey, I'm excited to share self-development while maintaining motherhood with you. That is the ultimate goal of this channel. Very soon I'll be able to upload a lot more consistently. Right now, balancing everything that I have been trying to balance takes a lot of extra effort, and I have a lot going on. And in order to show up for the people in my life, but right now is an era where I have to kind of push through, but in about summertime, I should be able to upload very often and a lot more consistently, and hopefully with the same level of quality that you've been able to see. So